Hello once again. You're here with Daniel, your Network in Action IT extraordinaire, and today I am joined with Christina Bell. Christina, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. It's really great to have you.
Thank
Um, Always nice to see you as well. And you have been in Network in Action for how long? I know you started off as a member.
Yeah, I did start off as a member. Actually, so the very first franchise that was started, I was a member of that group. I owned a sales company, and so I was a member for about a year, and then I ended up selling that company and relocating. And so I moved to Austin. And I had been in Austin about a year, and my old network and action leader contacted me and said, just to check on me. Actually, he just called to see how I was doing, and I told him I was looking for my next adventure, and he said, you need to start network and action in
hmm
Austin, and boom, there it went. So
I remember being in the Energy Corridor meeting, and you gave a presentation on sales, and you kind of blew my socks off. It was I mean, the best way I could describe it was this kind of different reverse psychology that
yeah,
you were
yeah,
applying. Oh, you want to be interested in whatever this is,
yeah.
but I mean, it was a really great presentation, and I remember thinking we need people like that. And then here you are,
Here I
and
am.
so yeah, and it's really great to have you as part of the team. So
Thank-
so you have your franchise out in Austin, and how long have you been working it?
So it's been about 2.5 years that I've had
Two
it
and a
on.
half years. Okay, right on, right on.
Yeah.
And how many groups are you running?
So I've got two full groups, and I've got one that was set to launch right before COVID, and
Mm.
we postponed the launch, and so now we're just getting ready to launch it.
Okay, right on, right on. I'm actually gonna circle back to COVID in a few minutes, but before we do that, I got a few other questions for you.
Sure.
Um, okay, so what made you actually decide to become a community builder? Was it the leadership aspect of it? What was your primary motivation?
So I've of course owned my own business before, and I saw the success of Network and Action as a member, and how much I like the model compared to other networking models that were out there.
hmm
I thought the business model itself had a lot of opportunity in it. And again, because I've owned a franchise before and I'd been through that process before, seeing at this time some things that I didn't see before when I was looking for a franchise, and this time, it really, I was really impressed with how the business worked. So yeah, so it wasn't a hard decision. I guess I can't remember. Maybe a whole month went by between the time the idea was put in my head, and then when I showed up for training in, in the Houston office. So it didn't take
Okay,
long.
yeah, and you've actually helped us a lot in the development of some of our ideas. I know we've had some projects that we've worked on together, such as the business networking assessment. You seem to have an aptitude and an appreciation for the organization of the structure. I remember early on you were talking about, or at least I'd heard through the grapevine. I forget exactly how I heard this, but just the network and action documentation alone,
Mhm.
that you didn't have that available in some of your other. Um,
Yeah. So what's interesting is that when I had bought my first franchise, it was a franchise that had been around for a long time. And so when I purchased my Network and Action franchise, I was really thinking, okay, this is a new franchise. They're not going to have all their ducks in a row like the other one did. And I was really surprised with the training and support that was offered to new franchisees, compared to the other one. It was flipped from my expectations.
right
So
on.
there was a lot more there as far as the day-to-day support of any franchise owner. So I was really impressed with it.
Well, thank you, thank you. And okay, and so pivoting a little bit, what would you say that you enjoy most about your franchise?
Um, so I enjoy the people, and I enjoy also that not just within my group, but the other franchise owners are really there to help and support. So I haven't met anybody who I reach out and say, hey, I have a question. And they're like, yep, sure. Happy to help. What can I do? And so that is and heck, Scott Talley as well, our founder, is super available anytime I have questions or need help on anything. So that's been really nice.
Scott's the man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. And so what would you, if you were to meet somebody who was interested in possibly starting their own group, maybe not even necessarily a network in action franchise, but starting their own networking group, what would your advice be?
Um, so first off, I would say starting with network in action versus my own is more helpful, just because you already have your own model, a model there for you to follow versus coming up with everything from scratch. And especially now too, because network in action is getting more well known. So when I first started in Austin, people had not heard of network in action. And so, and another franchise started in Austin as well, about, I don't know how long they've been around now, a year or so. But it's interesting how much easier it is to recruit people for the group, having more of us in the area, because people have heard of us now. Oh, network in action, I've heard something about that. And whether it's through some kind of marketing I've done or they've done or something, just that name recognition helps a lot, versus when it's an unproven group that, ABC networking group that they don't know.
It's becoming a household name. It was a trip. I got a knock on the door the other day, and it was, I guess you call them the Census Bureau. They come and get your information or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I happened to have been wearing my Network in Action polo, and the lady looks at me. She goes, "You're with Network in Action," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know about us." And she's like, "Tell Moose I said hey." I'm like, "That's amazing." I'm walking down the street sometime. Yeah, Moose is pretty well tied in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even so, like walking down the street, I've bumped into people that like kind of grab me, because I mean I'm all over the place at this company, and
Yeah.
so it's not
That commonality there.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
so they just yank me up. They're like, "Hey, network in action."
Yes.
So I'm a mini celeb in the company.
And I think too, even we have locations that don't have chapters there yet, but I think even being able to say, hey, we are successful all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
We've got big networking groups all over the country, and that really says a lot to the success of the model.
Yeah, helps, does not hinder.
That's right.
Yeah, and so moving along here, what would you say is your favorite group activity?
The connector activity. That's by far my favorite. So what we do, because I think it's twofold. I think it really drives home the purpose of networking, which is like,
Mm-hmm.
you're not there to sell to the group. You're there to sell to all the connections, all the it's like having a networking group. The activity really happens outside of when the group's meeting, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, because you're getting to know everybody there, so they can think of you when they're out and about. And so anyway, when we do the connector activity, we have everybody think of who is a good connection for them, who is not, it's not a referral, like somebody who works with the same type of customer that they do. Sorry, I have a new puppy.
You're fine. Let's say hi to him.
And yeah, he's,
Boy's your boy, yeah.
yeah. He was
That's a
crying for
cutie.
me. Thank you.
Just needs a little attention.
Yes, he does. He does. So anyway, so what we do is we try to connect them with those other connectors. So it's not people who are shopping for their service, but it's other people who work with that same type of client. And if they build those relationships, then that sales funnel can just be blown right open. So we have a whole exercise around, okay, who do you know that is a good referral partner for you, and then the whole group tries to come up with those connections and make introductions.
Mm-hmm.
So I love running that exercise, because everybody always leaves with these new contacts and new connections immediately that they can go out and work with. We actually, so I did that last month with one of my groups and did a little twist on it. And I said, whoever made the most connections, I would give them $100 gift card. And we had
Ooh,
somebody make 9 connections with
mhm.
other connectors. So it was really,
Bada bing.
yeah, it was awesome.
Right on, man. All right, cool. And so we're gonna kind of change the tone here a little bit. We're in the year 2020 right now. As of this recording, we're mid-September. Seems to be that we are coming out of a pandemic. Seems to be the feel. If yeah, fingers crossed. So how has COVID affected your business?
We've been really blessed. So I completely give credit to Scott Talley and his leadership for this. You said he's the man, he is the man.
Hmm.
Because right out of the gate, he was leading Network in Action with how can we bring value to our members? How can we help them? They're going to be in this time of uncertainty. What can we do to help and support them? And so, with coming up with weekly spotlight speakers on things like the different loans and grants and how to apply for these, and experts in everything from marketing to how to office at home, really
Yeah.
just provided some amazing help for our members. And I actually, one of my groups was up for renewals in April. So for my original group, we had renewals in April, and now that whole group, I lost one person
Wow.
out of the whole group that renewed. So we really, I think probably the biggest difference. My groups have maybe lost a couple members due to COVID. We've gained a couple members due to COVID, but it really has not impacted us much at all. Um,
Largely unscathed.
yeah, yeah. I had one client who actually had to close their doors, and so
Hmm.
that and it's just really unfortunate. We'd really tried to help give them some resources, and I think they were already in a sticky situation, and COVID was just
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
think
for the
I
most
think that
part.
the leadership component of what happened during COVID, us, not just at corporate here, but also, bestowing everyone with this the hopefully motivation to be leaders themselves, and be torchbearers in this time. I know that daily dose, it wasn't just corporate. Like we set it up, but it wasn't us speaking there. We'd introduce all the experts all across the country, and I think that especially at that time, there was a bit of a shining light, and a path forward for everyone. As unclear as everything in the future is going to be.
It did.
Um,
It gave some specific steps that people could do to feel okay, a little bit more. I've got this.
Yeah, yeah, it was important. I would say it's important that we did that, and I'm just happy to have been a part of that, and happy to have you all as a part of this as well. So it's been a hell of a journey, and we're still getting through it, and who knows what the future holds.
That's
But
right.
I feel like we're on a pretty solid foundation
I think
with
so
whatever's
too.
coming. Yeah.
It makes me feel very comfortable about the future, again, of the business model, because it's like, oh my gosh, if we could go through this thing
Hmm.
and still, our members be loyal and want to continue and refer people. That's probably
Yeah.
another big thing is, the referrals I've gotten to the group during that time, that makes me feel great that our members have that much confidence that they're still in referring their friends and associates in, when we have a spot open for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
All right.
Dale, I want to mention too, before you let me go here, that you have been such a huge part of the success of the groups that you
Stop.
have. I mean, talked about Scott a lot, but as far as being there to help with any IT issue or concern, or I mean, even if it's I've got a new member on the phone and we're having this trouble, and call you up and you're right there. So it's a huge, huge help to have that. So I appreciate it.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the kind words, and thank you for reaching out. Because if you didn't, what, where would you be? You want to have any confidence in us, so it's important that we're there for you and making you a success. So keep it coming. It's my pleasure. Love speaking with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and I wanted to ask you, before we let off, if there was any, final thoughts that you had, maybe advice for, prospective franchisees, or maybe an invite to people to join your group. I'm trying to cover all bases here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say to new franchisees, I would say jump in with both feet. You know, I wish I had done that at the beginning. I had some other things that I was tying up before I could jump in, and I wish I had just been able to just jump right in, because I think that you quicker that you embrace it and you just start doing the behaviors and the activities. The other thing that I found is if I make 2 new appointments a day with prospective uh, members, that's all I gotta do is keep 2 a day. And Tish Times, who is a franchise owner in Phoenix, she and I over the last 2 weeks have partnered up together to keep each other accountable for that.
Right on.
So every day we eat, we have a little tracking sheet that we both update, that have you done your 2? And we actually have a little pot where, if we miss it, we contribute $1 or $2 for, every one short we are. And so, but having somebody like that within the group, an accountability partner to keep you on focus and keep you, moving with things, I think is important.
I'm gonna let Scott know you said that. I think that's really great, and props to Tish for engaging with you that way.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool, and I think that's a great idea. All right. Well, with that, Christina, I'm gonna let you go. It's been real, and it's always a pleasure speaking with you.
You too.
Thank you for being
Thank
part of
you.
Network in Action.
Absolutely. Bye.
All right.